There was a great Kishti man.
Oh, that's
correct,
right, yeah.
A great club man.
That money, like for the development of the field, it had to be the
Well, we had the carnival. We started the carnival around sometime in the 50s.
Aye, well, I remember the first carnival coming to Scotstown, and some of that I might talk to Tommy and mine about, because we were working in a field in Strucrunion at corn. We were sticking corn.
Right.
And I know that there was a what you might call a train of big wagons that came up that Tidavnet Road.
Yes.
And it was the amusements heading for the carnival.
Aye.
But when I say that, the marquee for the carnival, as far as I know, didn't come from that direction.
It came from Galway.
That's right.
From Tuam, I think.
That's right.
Tommy will know more about that.
That's right. We let Tommy tell it himself.
Well, how the carnival came was, when I came home from Williams in 51, I came home, I ended in 1950, January 51.
Yeah.
They were playing in Duffy's Field, which is known as the showgrounds now.
That's down in Drumshaver there.
Drumshaver. And I didn't like it. The idea of the field there, I was after being used to playing in Athlone and Tullamore, and there were proper grounds. There wouldn't be in a power with the Scotstown grounds now, but there were a big difference in them and
Duffy's Field.
Duffy's Field was.
Yeah.
So I remember speaking to Master Murray one day and her chairman, Eamon Murray, and Mick Lillis, the two of them. And I says, this is ridiculous. We'll have to change to get a grounds changed. And we agreed to send a deputation to Leo Hamill here to see would he rent this field here we're now in Kilmore. Hamill agreed to rent the field, so we had with that solved. But I said to them, why not think of buying our own field?
Right.
And that's a big. Now the 50s, you must realise, we had the worst recession Ireland ever had.
Yeah.
And money was very scarce. Emigration was at its highest. It wasn't the oldest son in the house emigrating. It was the whole family was emigrating. So Murray said, we could have a discussion on it some night. Now, I know I'd like to have this discussed before we bring it to a meeting.
Right.
Well, he'd say, how are we going to raise the funds? And I told him that down in Tullamore when I left, they were running a very successful carnival down there. And I would get a little bit more information and say, we'll have a little chat about it.
Yeah.
And Mick Lillis said that'd be the best thing to do. And I went down to Tullamore, got all the information I wanted, come back, and I met Mick Lillis and Eamon Murray, and I told them the pros and cons. There was more pros than there was cons, and that I couldn't see it failing. So that started the carnival, which we ran the carnival.
Yeah, because that was 52, I think.
We had to have a club meeting, see, to vouch for that, you know, and it was passed and proposed and seconded.
The carnival committee too.
The carnival committee was elected. There was a carnival committee elected then of.
I have vague memories of that. I can remember that there were season tickets at the time.
There was season tickets, right? Yeah.
How much were the season tickets?
There were about £1 or 25 shillings or something.
25 shillings. And I think that was for something like 13 nights. I think it was 13 nights of dancing or something.
Yeah, we were on a couple for 3 weeks or whatever. Yeah. It was too long.
And of course there was the business of the piano having to be supplied for bands and that.
Oh yeah, we hired the piano from Pickett to Dublin, come down on the GNR, and we'd send it into town and collect it at the good station.
Can you remember the first dance band? It was I
do indeed, very well. Famous band it was. It was making its name in Northern Ireland. It hadn't made its name nationally, but it had made its name all around the 6 northern counties and the 3 that was in the Republic here. Monaghan and Donegal.
And what?
The Clipper Carleton was his name.
Carleton, yeah. They were from Oma, I think, weren't they?
Savannah or Oma.
Down that country somewhere, So,
to illustrate how popular they were, Sean Clark and myself that night in the box. Sean lit a cigarette about a minute before the crowd started coming in, and he never got taken a second pull of the cigarette. They were just coming. The cigarette had burned out by the time that he was able to take that second one.
So there was some crowd.
Oh, it was the biggest crowd we had.
Yeah.
The carnival, I think the first year was, the Slipper Cartons opened it now. The Slipper Cartons became famous in later years. And we had some of the leading bands. We had Joe Dolan, top of the league, you know.
And what time of the year had you the carnival?
The carnival was July, I think starting in August maybe, and went into the beginning of September in the beginning.
That's right, at the start.
And the miners' field there, close to the river. We had to abandon it one year because with the flood.
Yeah.
We had to move up to Mick Rooney's field there, where Joe McCaffrey has his house now.
No, that was Frank Beggins.
Was that Frank Beggins?
That's right.
The triangle they called it.
That's right. Betty lives there now. Betty McCaffrey. That's right. And of course, naturally, with the big marquee, you had a caretaker and all the rest of it.
Caretaker, George Duffy.
That's right.
People would remember him. He was the caretaker. He had to stay with the marquee all night.
What I remember about the carnival, in fact, is the committee had a lot of concerns about some of the boys. I won't say where they were from, but they were called Teddy Boys.
Teddy Boys, yes.
You know?
They used to
and the whole talk was that they had knives and that sort of crap,
yes,
you know.
Yes.
And you know, there had to be a bouncer on the door, you know.
Yes, yeah. Well, at that time, you see, the girls all stayed on the one side of the hall,
right,
and men on the other side. And when the dance was called, there was a rush across the floor.
Yeah.
But it's hard to believe in this day and age.
And how long did the carnival last?
The carnival lasted for 3 weeks, I think. But they used to come from England on their holidays,
right,
and buy the season tickets.
All right, so
spend their holidays at the carnival.
The people who had left the parish, in fact,
yes, were coming back to be entertained.
That's good. That's good. The amusements, I think, were called McCormick's amusements.
They only lasted a year or two.
That's right.
I think.
That's right. And I mentioned the bouncer there because there was one man, in fact, who was able to keep law and order very well.
Frank Coffey.
That's
was
right.
The bouncer. He was working in England at the time, and he used to take his holidays at the time in the carnival to act as sort of trouble keeper.
That's
you know?
right. You know, we talked about the carnival, Sean, and the reason for it was really to develop the field. You know, you had different developments going on down there, isn't that right?
Oh yes, it went on for I think 3 different occasions.
That's right, because at an early stage, your man, what he called McKeown.
And then there was a lot of done by spade and shovel.
That's right.
Drainage.
That's right. Paddy Bogue from Gola, I think, worked at it, you know.
Paddy Bogue.
John Higgins, I think, from Derry Dorothy, or whatever you call it, you know.
There's quite a number of them there.
That's right.
Time.
And then your man, what do you call him, Paddy McKeown.
Paddy McKeown had a quarry in Maher, in
Killymarn. That's right.
He used to draw the stones.
Yeah.
Straight. And there was a drain along the side of the road there from one of the entrances down to Joe McQuaid's.
Oh, right. That was
and you could drive a lorry through it. It was that big.
It was a main drain, wasn't it?
Main drain.
And as well as that, up above, up near the top, up near the chapel, there was a couple of like flax holes or something like that up there, you know.
That's right.
It was a very wet spot, you know.
You see, there was an orchard there.
Right.
Actually, there was two or three fields there.
That's right.
That were made into made into one.
I know that. I remember. I think it was Tommy Minor telling me one time that the stones that were got for that big field, you know, that there was a drop of something like 12 foot.
Yes.
From the road into the corner of the field down beside Joe McQuaid's,
down beside Joe McQuaid's, is right.
And that there was one stone was so big, I think that it was the only stone on the lorry.
That's true.
It was that big, you know.
That's true, all right.
A major resurfacing of the pitch was scheduled, hence the ease with which the show committee got permission to use the football grounds. Of the many who attended on this day in the very early 60s, we have picked out some familiar faces. Patsy and Kevin Caulfield, Iterera, Brendan Boylan and Peter Sherry, Pat McKenna and Brendan Boylan with Canon Mick Connolly's pedigree Whiteheads, Peter Duffy, Gerard McCaig turns quickly. Jean McCary. Jimmy Sherry Coolkill and Matt Caulfield look at sheep. Johnny McCara's family, and is that neighbour Oni Carr with pony? Young Hugh Murray Alligesh, and is that Noel McKenna of Knocknalun? Noel Murray with Jimmy Flynn. Owen Charles Murray Alligesh. Frank Caulfield Iterera. Brendan Boylan. Jimmy McKenna Carahata with Canon Connolly's Pedigree Whitehead. Pat McKenna with Canon Connolly's Whitehead. Peter Boylan Drummondane. Sean O'Neill Drumbeer. Jimmy Riley Sheskin. Oliver Rooney. Packy Caulfield Iterera. Frank Caulfield. Note the old stables beyond the goalposts. Canon Mick Conley. Father Flood. Maggie Boylan and Ellie McKenna Drummondane. Here we see how the football field looked. Red James McCaffrey, Straw McElroy. Barney Began. Patsy McCara with pony. Is that cousin Lawrence on the pony? Roy Sterrett with donkey. Hughie Murray. Owen Charles Murray and young Hugh. Cahill O'Neill. Richard McLean. John Trainer Alligesh. Peter Swift Monaghan. Matt Caulfield and Willie Carson. John Meehan Mulnahinchigo. Mickey Smith Derrelay. Mickey Trainer Mulnahinchigo. Getting back to the